Sawubona mngani, welcome to Zulu Lessons with Thando, the place for modern conversational Zulu language lessons. Take my course on zululessons.com. That's one word, zululessons.com.
Mngani, there is something we call Impambosi. Impambosi in isiZulu. Impambosi really simply means a derivative. So it's a derivative of one word, so a root word. And you add a suffix or an extension to it, and it really just changes the word altogether. So let's look at one here. This extension that we are going to be adding, an extension is called isijobelelo. Isijobelelo in this sense. So now we are saying we want to add isa at the end of our verb, whatever verb you may think of. Now, let's say the verb is funda. Let's see how we can then change this verb. We know funda simply means to learn, to read, to study. However, if we now remove the last a from that verb, we now can add isa, isa. Fundisa has now changed. We have now changed this word to teach. It's no longer to learn or to read or to study. We are now saying to teach. That is impambosi yokwenzisa. Impambosi yokwenzisa. So a derivative or an extension that will change whatever verb to show a person helping another with that action. So if now we are saying to read, funda, and then we change it to fundisa, we're no longer saying I'm reading by myself now, or reading to myself, or any of that. Fundisa is now to teach. Now let's have a look at a different verb. We'll take a very small, short verb in isiZulu. It's only one syllable of a verb. It's ma, which really means to stand, to stop. Those are the main two uses of that verb. If you're looking for the other definitions, go ahead and consult your dictionary. Now, if we add isa to the end of that verb, what are we going to have? We now have misa, misa. This verb is no longer to stand or stop, but it's actually now to help someone else with this action. So we are now saying to erect something, so to erect an object, to appoint, to establish, to support. So picture an object, whatever it is, that needs support. If we then say misa to that object, and we're giving you that instruction and say misa, you now have to hold that object up, support it. Right? Now, let's have a sentence now with this word. Let's add a noun. The nation of Amazulu, uZulu. So not the language, isiZulu, not the land of Amazulu, KwaZulu, no, but uZulu, the nation itself. So if I give you the instruction and say, Misa uZulu, I am now saying, support the nation, be a pillar of strength for the nation, one that the nation can rely on. So now we have Misa uZulu. Do you see the verb itself ends with an a vowel, and the noun is starting with a vowel. Very common thing we do in isiZulu. when one word ends with a vowel and the next one starts with a vowel, we drop the last vowel from the first word. So now we will just simply replace it with an apostrophe. What do we have? isiZulu. isiZulu. Do you hear? I'm reading it as though it was just one word. isiZulu. And this is something we do a lot with spoken language. Now, I am basically just giving you the same instruction. It's just that I've shortened it with removing that one other vowel. However, if I am now giving this whole word as someone's name, I will remove that apostrophe and put these two words together. And what will we have? isiZulu. isiZulu. That is the name of our new king, Amazulu. One who was named this because it was foreseen that he will help uZulu to stand. He will help to establish uZulu. He will be the pillar of strength for Bayede, wena wendlovu, hlanga lomhlabathi. Impambosi. This one is Impambosi yokwenzana. Impambosi yokwenzana. So as you can see that those last three letters of that Impambosi are what we are working on. Isijobelelo, our extension on our verb. So this Impambosi, this extension, this derivative of the verb, it's going to change any verb that we use it on and give it a different meaning. So it is now going to be doing something to one another, to doing something to each other. Let's take a verb, thanda, thanda. That is to love or to like. But now, if we remove that last A and put in ana, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, but why are we removing the last A and putting in ana? Aren't we just adding na? No. Always keep in your mind that you are removing the last A and then adding the suffix so that you don't get confused when it's a different vowel, because then you won't remember to remove that A. So let's remove that last A of the verb thanda and then put in ana. Now we have thandana, thandana. That now no longer simply meaning to love or to like. Now it means to love each other, to like each other. So if I say you and I love each other, I would say wena nami siyathandana, siyathandana. We love each other. So that is impambosi yokwenzana, impambosi yokwenzana. Isijobelelo, the extension we added is ana, which changes our verb and the meaning of the verb. So go ahead, Mngani, and do this to other verbs. Post it in the comments and let's see what you come up with. But don't forget to also translate into isiZulu so that others who are also learning together with you can also understand and learn and get familiar with the language.
Mngani, I can improve your Zulu language skills, but what I cannot do is improve this channel without your help. Please subscribe.
Now we are using a different one this time. We are saying impambosi yokwenzeka, impambosi yokwenzeka. So look at those last three letters. That is the suffix we are going to add to our verb. So this suffix, remember, we call it isijobelelo. And we are going to then add it at the end of our verb. This one is like saying likable or kissable or suitable or serviceable or excusable. You hear? Those are the ones where we are adding eka at the end of the verb, so the suffix. Let's take a verb like thanda. Thanda. That means to like or to love. Now let's remove that last A and replace it with the suffix eka, which is eka. Now we have thandeka, thandeka. So that's now changed that verb's meaning, and it's now no longer just simply to love or to like, but now it is likeable or loveable. So if I say someone is likable, I will say uyathandeka, uyathandeka. He or she is likable. That is how you can use isijobelelo eka in a verb. Ngani, we are continuing with izimpambosi, so derivatives of verbs. So what we add at the end of a verb to extend it, and it changes the meaning of a verb. So the ones we've covered already is ela, which is impambosi yokwenzela, so to do something for another. We've covered ana, impambosi yokwenzana, which is to do something to one another. We've covered isa, impambosi yokwenzisa, which is really to help another. So now let us cover a different one, which is impambosi yokwenzisisa. Impambosi yokwenzisisa. So if you see those last 5 letters of that word, isisa, that is the extension we will be adding to our verb. Now, the extension, we call it isijobelelo. Isijobelelo. That is isijobelelo that we will be adding to our verb. So this particular one, impambosi yokwenzisisa, is really saying to do something thoroughly, to do something very well, to do something carefully. Let's take this verb, lalela, lalela. That means to listen. Now, when I remove that last A and put isisa, it is now lalelisisa, lalelisisa. So I'm saying, listen carefully. Listen carefully. If I take the verb funda and remove the last A of that verb and put in isisa, I'm saying to you, fundisisa, fundisisa. Read carefully. Read very well. Read carefully. So you're doing whatever action that verb is saying, but very well, carefully, thoroughly. So go ahead in the comments and share what other verbs you played around with to make impambosi yokwenzisisa. We are going to look at when we add WA, so wa, or IWA, iwa, to the end of our verb. These ones are going to then be separated into 2. As you can see, we are adding iwa and wa. So we are adding 2 different endings. When we have a verb that starts with a vowel, and that verb is also monosyllabic, so it's only 1 syllable. So the verb akha, to build, or the verb azi, to know, So in that case, we will use iwa, so IWA. But if we are working with verbs that start with consonants and also are more than one syllable, then we will simply add wa, which is just WA. So now let's take the verb thanda, which means to like or to love. Let's remove that last A of the verb and we put in wa. Now we have thandwa. Now, if I say iyathandwa lengane, iyathandwa lengane. Now we are talking about this child, lengane, this child. And what am I saying about the child? I'm saying this child is loved. Not that I love this child, not that I love this child for this or because of that. No, the child is loved. Iyathandwa. Now let's take the verb akha, which means to build. Do you hear it? Akha. It starts with a vowel and it only has one syllable. So it means we are going to use the extension or suffix iwa, so IWA. So we remove that A at the end of the verb and we replace it with IWA. Akiwa, akiwa. So something is being built. Now, let's now make a sentence with it. Indlu yakhiwa umakhi. Do you hear that? Indlu yakhiwa umakhi. A house is built by the builder. The action is happening to the house. It's not happening to the builder, umaki, it's happening to the house. So the house is being built or is built by the builder. Indlu yakhiwa umaki. These derivatives, though, they have a little bit more detail to them, which we won't cover on this lesson. But you must just know that when we add wa and iwa, we are now saying that something or an action is being done to the subject of that sentence.
Mngani, I can improve your Zulu language skills, but what I cannot do is improve this channel without your help. Please subscribe.
Now, this one is Impambosi yokwenzela. Impambosi yokwenzela. So basically what we are going to do is take a verb as it is, a root verb, and remove the last A of the verb and put in ELA. And now that extension of that verb is now going to change the meaning of the verb to do something for another. So you're not doing something to another, you're not helping another, you are doing something for another. Pay attention to that for. And then another thing to pay attention to is, this is isiZulu. It's not isiNgisi, it's not isiFulanji, it's not isiShayina, it's not isiKhalanga. So it has to make sense in isiZulu, whatever you're saying. If it doesn't make sense in isiNgisi, it's fine because this is not isiNgisi. Now, let's make an example here. The verb is pheka, to cook. When we remove that last A of that verb, pheka, and we put in the extension ELA, so ela, we now have the verb phekela, phekela. We are now saying to cook for another. So to cook for someone, to cook for something, or to cook for an event. So let's make a couple of examples so you can see what we are saying here. Ngiphekela umama. Ngiphekela umama. Ngiphekela umama. I'm cooking for mom. Uphekela ubaba nomama. Uphekela ubaba nomama. Uphekela ubaba nomama. He or she is cooking for dad and mom. Baphekela umshado. Baphekela umshado. Baphekela umshado. They are cooking for the wedding. You can now go ahead and play around with this verb extension or isijobelelo, the ELA, and see what verbs you can come up with. Keep in mind, it changes the meaning of the verb. So our verb is no longer pheka, to cook. It is now to cook for someone, to cook for something, to cook for an event. So to cook for. So go ahead and post in the comments what you come up with, but also don't forget to then translate into isiNgisi so that others can also see and join in the learning. Usale kahle mngani.
Mngani, thank you for watching. If you found this lesson helpful, please leave a comment. Don't forget, you can take my course at zululessons.com.